Welcome to TAM-Retail's mini demonstration series. In today's session, we will cover receiving a PO and printing the pricing tags that result from that PO. Let's go ahead and share the application. The option that we'll use for this can vary. TAM has 3 different ways that you can receive, or maybe even 4, using the application. One way is to receive on screen, and that's receive PO is the option shown here with the checkbox and the icon over the PO. We also have the capability to direct receive product, and we have the additional capability to scan product in kind of a conveyor belt or quick process for those heavy times of the year where you have a receiving station set up and back with a scanner attached to it. We'll talk a little bit more about those 2 options. Those are all part of the programming. As well as with the handheld link option, you can receive product using a handheld scanner that's wireless right out by the back of the truck. That emulates the same SKU receiving capability that you would use at a receiving station, but does it wireless and hands-free. Okay, let's start by receiving with the most commonly used program, Receive Purchase Orders on screen. This allows us to simply enter in the purchase order number that we want to receive against. So if you have produced a receiving worksheet, let me show you one of those real quick. This receiving worksheet is a document that can be printed after the purchase order is created, and it allows you to essentially put this by your back door, and then your receiving staff can use it to enter in the amounts and then drop these forms into a in-basket at a particular desk so that they can be processed by one person in your organization. Of course, everybody can do receiving, and that's fine, especially if you have a computer in the back receiving area. But it is sometimes nice to segregate the duties so that not everyone is receiving into the application. If you want to do that, the receiving worksheet is a great way to do that. The receiving worksheet also doesn't make it so that confidential information such as costs and things like that are on the document that you provide to your staff in the back office. And it does have a worksheet area that can be written on if needed. Not everybody uses them. It is an optional procedure. Let's go ahead and receive our purchase order. Now, back to receiving a PO, we simply type in the vendor that we're interested in, or again, type in that PO number if we know it. If the vendor has more than one open PO with us, then we're able to click with the plus here and open and expand so that we can see what SKUs are in each. This is the PO that I want, so I'm going to just double click on that. Once we do that, we're in the receiving program. It loads it up. It shows on the SKUs tab the capability for you to see in kind of a worksheet format all of the items that you're going to be receiving. It even defaults the receive quantity to match the open order balance. This is important because we really believe in what we call exception receiving. And exception receiving is there so that if you have a 300-line PO, I know my PO is very small, but if you have a 300-line PO, you're able to receive and change just the exceptions. So if you have a 300-line PO and only two of them were received, you can clear the receiving quantity and enter those 2 very quickly. If you have a 300-line PO and all but 2 have been received, then you can simply zero out the ones that were not received, make those adjustments. TAM fully supports under receiving and over receiving, and on a very large PO, the go-to SKU feature is very nice. It allows you to simply scan in, type in, enter in any identifying number, whether that be the vendor stock number, catalog number, the item UPC, or the SKU number on the item, and it'll jump right to it. Okay, I'm not going to make any changes to mine. I was lucky enough to receive everything in. But I do want to mention that if we need to change a cost or a retail at this time, we can simply click to the Location Split tab, and we can change the cost or retail on the items very easily prior to receiving it. So if the item, let's say, looks better than you thought it does, you thought you could get $6 for it, but maybe you want to try to get $7, you can change that retail price before any tags are distributed or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and, as I mentioned, I'm lucky enough to have received everything, so I'm just going to click one button and the receiving is complete. That's all there is to it. Once you've received a purchase order in the system, you can easily produce a receiving recap for your financial people. This allows them to see the items that have been received, at what cost, with fully extensions, and this can be used as a paper document to be matched up against the invoice when it arrives. But don't forget, TAM has a full automatic reconciliation capability, or an on-screen reconciliation capability, that will allow you to do that reconciliation paperless if you'd like. It actually allows you to match up purchase orders and vendors, and then pull those right up, match up, and reconcile your invoices. This is a great tool because if a cost has changed between the time you received it and the invoice arrives, this will actually go back and adjust the cost of goods on those items. So your cost of goods will be very accurate. Another nice feature of the receiving process is that you're able to produce pricing labels automatically. If you remember when we created a SKU, we indicated on that SKU, it doesn't matter which one I pull up here, but we indicated on that SKU what type of tag we would like produced. And if the item is pre-priced and pre-tagged, then you can set this to no label, but you also can indicate the type of label you want. TAM supports many different types of labels, whether it be pressure-sensitive labels with permanent or non-permanent adhesive in many different sizes, hang tags for apparel items, or even barbell labels for jewelry items. TAM supports them all using a Zebra line of printers. When it's time to go ahead and print those labels, all we simply have to do is go into the print pricing label program. Let me close out of this, and print pricing labels, and we're able to hit enter, and all those labels will show up there. Now, labels can not only be produced through receiving, which is our source in this case, but they can be produced on demand through the SKU program by requesting them. And we also have the capability to do quick label printing. So if you just need to print a couple for items that have been returned into stock, you can do that very easily. And we even support shelf label printing as well. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and print these. I only have one type of label, one by one, but if I did support and use one by one labels, apparel labels, barbell labels, I could print all of those, because when I go to print them, it tells me what label to enter into the printer, and all you do is drop those in and press a button, and you go ahead and click OK, and the labels are printed automatically. That's all it takes. The labels print very quickly and very quietly. Now, one more thing I want to touch on is the additional ways to receive. If you don't want to do purchase orders in TAM, we can do direct receiving of items. That's covered in another session as well. We also have the capability to receive through SKU receiving. This is a scanning receiving against purchase orders, and it allows us to receive by scanning the item, again in kind of a conveyor belt process, touch it one time. This is really good for items that have manufacturer UPC barcodes on them. You can scan those items in and then select the PO you want to ding it against. It'll show you all the POs if there's more than one, or it'll automatically select if there's only one open PO. You type in the quantity you've received, and it's done. So again, one-touch type receiving, and this can also be done with a handheld scanner. If labels are required, in this program, the labels actually print right away. So you touch the box, pull out the item, scan it, enter the quantity, print the labels. It's all done in one step. Okay, that completes the receiving and printing of pricing tags portion of the demo, and I'm going to return back to the meeting center now. I do want to remind you that if you need any additional information or would like a live demonstration, please feel free to contact your account rep or contact our general sales department at sales@tamretail.com and the number listed below. Thank you very much for attending.